name's Ralph and welcome back to the channel. It's my time, let's go. Today I get a chance to get back working at Margaret. I've cleaned up some other things and some other things I thought I was going to have to do I didn't have to do, and things are working out all right. So I'm going to take my spare time here, or I shouldn't call it spare time. So I'm going to take the time I have here now to get at Margaret. Now we've got the rocker boxes finished. You know, we've got some things done already. The flywheels are true to waiting to go in the cases. Now we've got that sort of stuff done, so now I've got to bead blast the cases and clean them out and wash them all out. And do the cylinders is the next thing. Once that's done, I'm also going to have a look at the oil pump. I might blast the body of it and clean it up. But once those things are done, then we'll be into the assembly stage with that, which is always pretty exciting once you start to get to that point. But there's many other things that have to be done here yet. I'm going to throw a mock-up motor in there so I can have a look. I've got the original 2-in-1 exhaust that I want to use. I've got a exhaust pipe digging through my stuff. I dug into some more of my older stash, and I kind of like the little tiny fishtail on here. I think these are off of Softail, if I'm not correct. I'm not sure. They are the original Harley ones because they got the stamp and everything in them here. But they're in, this is in really good shape. And I'm thinking that I'd like to have the 2-in-1 with this pipe. Sort of something along that sort of lines, somewhere around there. I'll have to check with clearance issues here between my shock and that, but I should be fine. It should really be down around there. My mind could change as we go along and start to see how the rest of it looks, but I'm trying to stick to a plan, and you know how hard that is. We've got a set of 1-inch shorter black shocks, so we're like 11-inch there, and it's dropped the fender down considerably there to a better level of what I like. We've also, I think that the tank is pretty well going to stay about there where it is. It's got a little bit of an angle on it. Might come down a little bit, but I'm pretty sure that's about where we're going to stay with it. I like it up a little bit. So it's pretty close to where it's going to live. This has got to come up a little bit in the rear for my mount, like that. So it's kind of got a nice flow to it. And as you can see, one of the biggest major changes that we've made, we've gone to the 21-inch on the front. Because I dropped the ass end down a little bit to get it down more where I wanted it, and with the combined brake on the front end, it ended up that my axle point was a lot higher than with the other one. I would have been just below level there, but now I'm up a little bit in the front because these will compress a little bit, and looks like the 21 is going to be what we're going to use. I'm going to have to get a new spoke kit. The rim's good, but the spokes are a little bit blustery, so I'm going to have to clean those up and redo the wheel for it. But now you can see that it's got a little better look to it. It's starting to come along. Things are pretty well getting where I want to have it, so I don't have the headlight on it and stuff right now. But it's just a mock-up to give me an idea of where I'm going. But it's starting to take shape. I modified the spring tabs up underneath the seat here now so that it slides into position there where it's supposed to and locks in, and has given us our fit to the fender the way we want it. So I'm pretty happy. I know some people didn't like the small front wheel. I kind of did. It was the rim that got me. It was, you know, it's a beautiful rim, and I still don't know what I'm going to use it for something. I just haven't decided what yet. But the 21 is what it's going to have to be. Fills out the look. So while you're working on the bike, you're still always thinking about all the things that you might have or you'd like to add to it. And I had a thought in my mind that I had an old hex style shaped wraparound oil tank. Now I spent a lot of time going through my parts stash, and I mean there's only so many places you can look. And but I had it in my mind that I'd seen that somewhere. I wasn't really sure whether it was a Sportster one, you know, they were quite common, the hex ones that clamped on the frame, or one of the Harley ones, the FX type ones. So I started looking and digging, and I ended up cleaning a whole area out, taking everything out and way back in underneath, in the back, underneath the set of stairs as far as you could go, in the first step jammed in there. Hex style wraparound oil tank. Now the chrome's not in the best of shape by any means on the top and stuff, so I may have to paint it, or I got a few different ideas of what I might do with it within the time constraint. Hopefully it doesn't tie me up too bad. But this little tank will fit in there. And yes, I could use the stock oil tanks and the battery and such, but I'm trying to slim it down a little bit and give it that chopper sort of look and that early years sort of feel. And this oil tank is just right. You know, the battery fits in here, so you're contained. I checked it, you can get it in and out of the bike. Some of them in the earlier years, they said there was a problem with them, that once you put it in, you know, you practically had to move the oil tank in order to get the battery out. But this one fits fine. I do have to make a couple brackets there to get it where I want it. But once those are on there, I'm sure that the fit will be fine. And it's cool. You know, it's something cool besides. So she's changing shape. We're staying at it. We're trying to figure out the different things. And today is a little bit of dirty work. I'm going to work away. I'm going to get the cases for Margaret glass beaded today. That's my plan, to get that done. And I might have a chance to have a look at the cylinders. I'm not sure, but we'll see how my day goes. So with all that being said, I got to get at stuff and start at them cases. Let's go. So I'm going to get these cases ready to glass bead, and I've had them all bolted together there so I could do the pinion race. And now that that's done, I'm just going to do the rest of the case bolts off. And we're just going to glass bead these cases and clean them up as best we can. A nice tight setting fit of cases on those rods, which is really nice. The alignment bolts. These original Harley cases are in great shape, all things considered, with Margaret. One thing you can tell by is the alignment bolts in them, and if the alignment bolts are still fitting in there nice and snug, shows you that they're not beat, and will make for a better seal when we go to put it together. So what I'm going to do is split the cases, and I've got a little special jar that I keep. There it is. Keep all my nuts and bolts together because I've wire brushed all these and cleaned them. And I got a little thing full of Allen bolts here, and I keep those to try and plug as many holes as I can. It's not quite as long, but I stay more in the center of the bolt. We're halfway out of there. There are these small threaded holes here, and like I said, I always like to put Allen screws in them, and especially into the small ones for the alternator. These are handy to keep all these things in place, and then when you go to work on something, you're not searching it all out everywhere. Bearing out, especially these ones back here. Some of these are through holes, some are blind holes, so blind holes that we're more concerned with, those ones. I'll have to see if I can find some 1/4 inch fine plugs. I'd like to take this little one out of here too, so that I'm able to blow through this when it's finished, because it'll pack up stuff in there. So I'll go along and do this, and then we'll take it over and blast it off. Round 2. So now we got our cases all glass beaded, and I went and blew them all out with high pressure air. We took brake clean and shot it through all of the oil passages, and every passage we could find on it really. And then we blew that out with compressed air. Now the next step will be to wash them out completely. But I've been getting the races out of these cases, and I've just got to get the ring around in here. If you just tap lightly on it, being careful not to score up the cases. And get it around a ways. So we've just flipped our cases over both ways, and we've knocked the races out. Just by tapping on them back and forth, nice and lightly until you get them worked out. Getting the big ring out of the center is usually the biggest chore. The hole in the top is up here, and my space is here. I'm going to give it a couple taps and see if I can start it there. I had it, but she popped out. There we go. Just try to work it around to get it out of the groove. There we go. A couple light taps, and it will flip in there, as you can see. Now we try to keep these sharp edges here towards the center if we can, so that they don't score up the body taking them out. It's not always possible. Going to this time, we tap on the opposite side from the spacing that's open. You're sort of rolling the ring out. Like I say, it's hard to get it in there without a mark in it, but we've virtually got it out with hardly anything there at all. Can't even feel, just barely feel it at all. But the big ring is out now. So now we're bead blasted, we've got the races out, we've got the bearings out of it, got everything out, and we've washed out everything, and we've cleaned all the holes, and we've blown them out, and we just keep doing that. Now I'm going to wash them out with hot soap and water 2 or 3 times. Put the compressed air to them while I have them in the water through the oil passages, just to make sure that there's nothing lingering in there. And then we can start putting our flywheels in and start putting Margaret together. Okay. So when you're down to blowing out the cases, it's important to get the small holes and all of the oiling holes everywhere that there is possibly any kind of thing, especially this little tiny hole in the bottom right there. And that comes through to your breather here in the back side of the breather, and stuff can accumulate up in there. That's why I also take the back plug out this one here to make sure that you can blow it out as well, because that's again attached in by the breather gear, and we don't want anything in there. So no matter how much time it takes, it's worth it to take your time and blow all them passages out 2 or 3 times around your threaded holes. We're going to go around and check all our holes, and there's still little bits of grit that come out when I hit it in a certain way. So we're just going to blow them and make sure we're clear. Make sure and get areas like up in here where your studs are. Up in here. Up in here. We'll also accumulate there. So now we got our bearings set, and we're going to put our bearings in the case and get it ready. And they always come as a match set like this. With your center ring in here. And what I like to do is take that orange piece, tie wrap, your center spacer too, also don't forget. And we'll leave these ones to go on the inside, and I'll put my orange tie wrap in the bearing so I know that it's the right set. But we're going to do the outside here right now. First we got to get this in, and I like to put the spread part down towards the hole in there if I can to get it started, and that saves tearing it up trying to drag it through. Just tap those down so that they're close to the groove in there, so they will pop into place, and then work it down. And there we go, it's popped right in. We're just going to tap it around a little bit. It has to be open at the top. You can see around there that the ring is open to the oil hole there, and that's where you want it, so that oil will continue to go through there. If you block it off, it blocks off a lot of the oil hole. Now we'll take our outside one. Just put a little bit of oil around there so it's not dry going in. Tapered side out. Your Timken bearing has to fit in that. Just try to tap it in there a little bit to start with. Either so we're squared up in there. That's good. And then we'll skip over to the press. Go. Always support it underneath so that you're supporting this steel part. And you have a good look at it and make sure that you're seated up against the center one all around. That's good. All right, now we're going to do our inside one, which is this race, and we're going to put our little orange tie wrap around this bearing so we know that this is matched with the inside race. And this one we can just support on the steel part itself. And again, we just check to make sure that it's seated in there good down against that ring. It appears to be. Okay, now the races are in. Put these in the bag to keep them clean. So I've got the shaft that I turned down so it's a little bit smaller than the other ones. That way I can make sure that I'm not locked up tight and that I've got end play. So I'll put my inside one on the inside. We use our little spacer. This one on. Our little spacer. And our inside one. Spacer, spacer, spacer. We just hold it up a little bit, grab the nut. Inside, tie the orange piece on it for the inside one. Keep those all together. I've only ever had one set that was tight on me. I think that was on Gus's. And the rest I've always had a good fit on them and they spin nice and freely. So, no binding, no problems. Now I'm going through getting my oil pump parts ready, and we've glass beaded them all off and we've blown them out good. And we've wire wheeled all of our studs. And what I'm doing now is I'm just going to try these in the holes just to make sure that they're going to go in there right as far as they should go in and bottom out in there. This one bottomed out okay. It's good to take a moment and try this right now, because nothing worse than trying to put your pump on and then all of a sudden, oh, I can't go in there because I feel grit and the stud is bottoming out or whatever. So I'm pretty sure that I'm clear here of it all, but for the moment that it takes to check, it's well worth it. Just going to take a moment. I'm going to walk over now that I've run the threads in and out. I know that they're nice and clean. All right, clean these gears up and check them. So I'm just going to wire brush all these. Yeah, I'm checking to make sure that there's no deterioration of the gear. Now when I took it apart, there was no water in the oil pump, so I thought they'd be okay. And at first glance, they seem to be. but I'm going to take a minute here and wire brush them. Watch we don't rub all the yellow off. We still got a little bit there. We're just trying to get them all with a nice clean profile in there with no grit or anything like that. And there we go. Those are all nice and clean. Now we're going to put new springs in. This one doesn't have to be replaced, but we're definitely going to put a new one in for our check ball. So clean that out. Put a new check ball in. That's got to go back in their breather hole there. Now we're going to deal with all the small pieces. Got my gaskets here. And the first thing to go in is our little plug. We're going to plug this hole off now because we're not using the oiling system to the primary. And it's a good time to do it right now so you don't forget. Because there's no fun trying to get at it afterwards in there. There we go. All right. Now we have this little one, and I think we have a new little washer for it here. And I'm also going to put a little goop under there. So these ones are sealed off in the pump body, and that one's going right in here. Now we've got to get the seal in. Got a little tool for that. And we'll get our oil seal. And the lip, the little lip on that faces up towards these gears here. Okay, lots of oil in there. Got a little flat piece that I can put in here just to make sure that the seal is down. Just has to be down below the lip a little bit. Just got to make sure that it's down below the surface of the body here so that the gear won't rub against it. And that's where we are down in there. All right, coming along. Top cap. Just clean the inside of that out. Now, put our plunger in. Spring in. And we need our big washer for our top nut, which I just had in my hand here. There we go. And I think we'll give our check ball a little light smack there, just to seat it. We're going to drop our old ball down in here. Centered on that punch. It's got a center on it. couple light smacks there. Looks good. Yeah, we're just making sure that the seat is there and it looks good. And we'll get our new spring out. And our new check ball. Put oil in there. Those are 81 to 92, so I'll have to look around again and see if I've got a pack for the earlier springs. Well, I can't find my pack of springs right now, so we'll put this one back in. We'll stretch it a little bit, it's not uncommon. New O-ring for the plug. This would regularly be your line to the primary case, which we're not using. Okay, let's tighten those caps up. Now, but it's the end of the day, so I'm just going to stop right now, and tomorrow we'll finish putting together the oil pump, getting that in, put our needle bearing in here for our cam, putting that on, getting everything tidied up, and we'll be another step closer. Okay, so if you enjoyed this video today, like, subscribe, ring the bell, do those kind of things. It helps us to grow. Be sure and check in next week to see how we're coming with Margaret. I'm going to just keep plugging along as I go. And like I said, I've got a bunch of different things on the go. So it's hard to say what my week will bring me. But we're going to keep trying to give you updates as we go, and we'll see you next week.